All right, of course it all depends if it ran last night.
Hello once again, race fans. Welcome to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Sunday, July 21st races, actually July 22nd races at Hastings Racecourse. We do have 8 on tap and good, once again, fast racing strip. And,
fast racing strip, good card, good field sizes. Should be a good day at the races, beautiful Sunday. I always love Sundays out at Hastings Park, and this one should be no different.
Yeah, lots of great simulcasting too. Don't forget Delmar and Saratoga going on. Lots of A-list race meets going on. Well, let's concentrate on Hastings for this edition. Let's go
right into the
first race. We do have a field of 6, actually a field of 7. $5,000 claimers to sprint 6.5 furlongs. I've gone to the 3-horse D's Victor. Horse that missed the break last time, but made a big 3-wide sweep to get into the 3rd spot. Just actually lost a photo or not a photo, but didn't lose by much to Now Act. I think he can reverse the tables with a better trip. Has a more aggressive pilot in the irons with an Enrique Gonzalez, and I think D's Victor will be, I think, a formidable foe here for his rivals. I put the 1, Bosco's Quick, in for second. Stretches back out to 6.5 furlongs after a kind of a wide trip going 3.5. This wasn't fast enough to clear the horses there and ended up getting hung wide. Still was traveling well at the end of the race. And I put the 2, Now Act, in for third. He's eligible to win. That was his first run since May, his last race. So, you know, it probably couldn't have been his best. Maybe he'll fire his A race today. But I like 3, 1, and 2. I think D's Victor has the most upside and might be the best price of the 3. That's why I'm leaning to him.
I went with the 2, Now Act, for one of the reasons you just said. He probably needed the last one. Got beat by Fleet Mac, who was a pretty tough horse.
Right.
You look at his form this year, he's either first, second. You know, he seems to be right there every time. The Nowhere's the year for 5, I think, fits him well. So I have the 2 on top. The 2nd spot, I picked a horse Out of the Clouds. I picked this horse earlier this year for $7,500. He didn't disappoint me that day. I think he's been running some tougher races like the Queechy, Quick, those kind of races. 5 Nowheres of the year, I think, suits him pretty good. So because of the date on it, he's eligible for it. So I have him in the 2nd spot. And the horse you mentioned, D's Victor, he had some excuses for sure. I have him in the 3rd spot. So I went 2, 5, and 3. And on to the 2nd, Fillies and Mares, Nowheres of the year for $5,000. Nice size field here of 8. And I went with the 6, Dynolite. Horse out of the Terry Clyde barn. She's been running much higher all of her life, pretty much. Always up in the allowance. 25,
right.
You know, 17.5.
Oh,
yeah, now she drops into the 5 Nowheres of the year. I think that she's just too much to handle. I think she's the best horse in here. So I have her on top. The 2nd spot, I put the 3, Include the Grand. I thought there was she's kind of coming into her form. She ran a really good race last time. Pedro Alvarado takes off to ride Dynolite. Obviously, I think it was a tough horse in here. But she ran a good race last time, just got beat late, got maybe a little bit tired late, got beat by Bespoke. But I think she's rounding into form. I have her in 2nd spot. And in the 3rd spot, I went with the 7, Remarkably Free. Made no mistake, her first out of the year against Nowheres of the year for $3,000. That wasn't an overly tough race, though. This is a bit tougher race. However, she does have the race under her belt, so I wouldn't be surprised to see her win it either. But I have her in 3rd spot. 6, 3, and 7 for me.
Yeah, I've gone to the 7-horse Remarkably Free. I see a pile of speed in here. I mean, I just see the front end getting very crowded.
Yeah, there is a lot of speed here.
Include the Grand, Anadu, BC Cat, Tamarinda, and Dynolite. My concern with Dynolite, likely the best, definitely the best horse in the race. That's the best credentials.
The pace, yeah.
But will this horse get hung 4 deep? And if she's 4 deep, I don't like her.
Yeah.
And I'm going to gamble that she doesn't get the great trip and hope Remarkably Free is the one that gets to settle in behind the speed. She doesn't have to sit that close. She's come from out of it before. I like the way she won. She won with authority last time. I know it was against way easier horses, but still, she's got a lot of upside, and I think she'll continue to improve. I like the 7, Remarkably Free. Put the 4-horse BC Cat in for second. That was a big race to Diana's Legacy. She did lose the purse money due to a medication violation, but she's one that's alive at the 5,000 level. That's a big class drop for her. And I put the 6-horse Dynolite, another obviously class dropping filly in for third. But if the post positions were switched, you know, I'd put Dynolite ahead of BC Cat, but they're not. So you have to deal with an outside post with 4 inside speed horses. So I think that's what will make things a little difficult for Dynolite. But I went 7, 4, and 6 in the second. On to the third race. Got some $25,000 3-year-old colts going 6. Actually, fillies going 6.5 furlongs. Got a 6-pack set to go. I like the 1-horse Ouch out of the Dino Condolinos barn. tried going long, the saddle slipped. There was a mess that day. The tack shifted way back. This horse had no chance. Throw the race out. It's come back to work well. But aggressively spotted for the 2 bets. There were 2 races prior to that. Her 2 defeats to Ancidi and R. Eleanor are definitely good enough to beat this field, and I'm hoping that ouch shows up this afternoon. I put the 4-horse Bold Pretense in for second. Last race she was hung out 3 and 4 wide throughout in the slop. Not her fault, just a bad trip. Yeah. She'll get a better one likely. Amadeo Perez rides. And I put the 2-horse Satellite Debris, who could take advantage of a fast pace, in for third. She shortens up to 6.5 furlongs off a pretty good effort going along. I think she's better as a 1-run closer though, but I do like the 1 ouch. I went 1, 4, and 2. There's
a few different ways you could look at this one. I had a few different horses. I ended up leaving ouch out, which is probably a mistake. I went with Bold Pretense. You look at that race for 25, she just demolished the field. Went up to an allowance category. Found out, you know, like you say, wasn't the best scenario for her. She didn't have a great trip. Now she drops back in for 25. I think she's right in the thick of this. I have her on top. The second spot I have Satellite Debris. I thought that was a really good race she ran going long for a horse that I don't think is really a route horse. She drops back in for 25 sprinting. So I have her in second spot. In the third spot I have Talus Ridge, a horse that just got beaten that long race going for 25.
She's legit. I could have easily picked her top 3.
Yeah, so I like her. She's her first race, she got out. She had a lot of excuses. Second race, come back, made no mistake, and then ran a bang-up race. Fought with Yang the whole way and just missed the head bob. So I think cutting back to a sprint, I like that angle. I think she's in it too. So I went 4, 2, and 3 in the third race. And on to the fourth, a 2-year-old maiden special weight going 6 furlongs. And I went to the 5 Major Dundee. He's been working well. I know they're pretty high on him, and he's coming out of a barn that has been on fire with the 2-year-olds this year. Pretty much every 2-year-old they've led over is won. And I know they think a lot of them. When they think a lot of their horses, they're measuring them against horses that have already won or even won stakes. So if they think enough of them, I got to put them on top. I have Major Dundee on top. The second spot, I go way to the outside to Serendipity Grove. This is a horse that's been bet off the board both the starts. Just ran second beat a neck to Little Miss Bean and came back and run third to 2 pretty nice horses in Officer's Charm and Tiggertown. So, and has 2 outs, so, you know, quite a bit of seasoning. So I like the 9 in second. And the third spot, I put 4 Alpine Lad, a horse to run good fourth, like another horse that has the out for Craig McPherson, ran behind Red Rose and Innocent Love. No fault there running behind those horses. So have him in third spot. It's 5, 9, and 4 for me.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this race. There's a
lot of ways to look
obviously
at it,
the first-time starters deserve to be looked at in the paddock. You must, you know, check them out in the paddock and see what they look like. There's some live barns here with some live horses that could potentially be first-time start winners, and so do look at them in the paddock. I'm going to lean to the 8-horse Calm the Storm. Pretty impressed with his debut run. He hesitated at the start. He's kind of, it's almost like he dwelt, but he did eventually come out. But he was about 4 behind the field before he then rushed up to be with the leaders out 3 wide, and he was right there turning for home. He had the lead actually in between calls and looked good, but he got a little tired late. That's to be expected. I like him. He's come back to work well. And if you look at his works going into that race, and I always like to, you know, to backtrack a little bit. Yeah. If you look at this race, he had 1.58 going into that last run in 106. That was the only 5/8 he had. It was a
probably 106. Didn't get a lot out of it, yeah.
But I mean, Greg was a very good horseman, a very good 2-year-old trainer. Gets horses ready to run early. Thought enough of him to run him in that race. So he obviously likes the colt. He's pretty high on him, I would think. And now he's got a better work, you know, a little bit better work since the race, but more importantly, he has a race under his belt. I think he's going to be a lot better this afternoon. So I like the 8, Calm the Storm. I put the 9 in for second, Serendipity Grove, for all the reasons you said. Good speed, 2 starts, has the experience edge, might clear from the outside and never be caught. Yeah. And the 5-horse Major Dundee out of the Troy Taylor barn. If you leave any 2-year-olds of his out, you're usually making a big error, so you got to put him in the mix too. So I went 8, 9, and 5. On to the 5th race. Got some maiden 5 granders going 6.5. Got fillies and mares here. I've gone to the 8-horse Connoisseur on the big class drop. Hasn't shown much yet this year, but it was for 20 grand, those 2 races back in April and May. She's not facing a whole lot in here at all. The works have been excellent since the race, been freshened up a bit. I'll take the 8 Connoisseur to win it. Put the 7 Reveling, who had a troubled journey last time, was kind of making a pretty good move on the rail, but got stuffed in behind some tiring speed, had to check, a wait. Finally got clear late and was running on very nicely at the end of the race and almost got second. Source did a lot of things right, Reveling, so I like the positive signs that he's showing. And I put the 4 horse Downhill Daisy in for 3rd on the class drop. Gets blinkers, easier horses, and an inside draw. She's been kind of stuck on the outside in her races in her first 2, so I think she'll appreciate a post change. I went 8, 7, and 4.
Speaking of the outside, I went way outside to the 11, Sister L. This is a horse that she hasn't had a whole lot of luck in her short career. Was running high early on, dropped down to the maiden 3 level, got in a lot of trouble in the Hula Hoop Girl race. That one there was... got
a lot of trouble last time.
Yeah, and then last time clipped heels and went down. Has been entered back a couple times and hit the also eligible since then. She's been working good. I think Fernando can set her, get her in a good spot. I think she's got a lot of run in her. She could win this. Second spot I have Connoisseur for, as you mentioned, a very hot barn, Robbie Anderson. He thought enough of her. He's had her up the maiden 20 level all year. Drops her down to 5. That's got to be a very dangerous angle for Robbie Anderson and Chad, who have been doing very well together this year. And in the 3rd spot, Reveling, horse you mentioned, was running much higher again for Craig McPherson all year. Found kind of her level, I think, at the $5,000 level last time. I thought, you know, like you say, she had some trouble. She could have won that day. Could definitely be in the mix today. You wouldn't be surprised to see her win it either. So I went 11, 8, and 7. And on to the 6, 3-year-olds and up, 3,000, non-winners of 3, lifetime. And I've gone to the 4, Dictatorship. This is another kind of hard luck horse. He has been scratched in the gate. He's a pretty nice horse. Came out earlier this year, won the 7,500 non-2, non-3. Even though he was a non-2, won that for fun over Cat's Axe and Out of the Clouds. Came back, just got beat by Swangs, who's gone on to win again this year. Then was off for a while, came back. He was scratching the gate one day. He's just kind of had a lot of things not going his way. He's had about a month off, a little under a month off, comes back, he's freshened up, worked in a minute and 4. I think he's very tough in here. The 2nd spot, I have a horse that I just mentioned, Cat's Axe, who was running those 7,500 non-3s. Got beat by like Ice Rules last time, Vying for Glory. Yeah. Pretty tough horses. He drops into the 3,000 non-3 level. I think he's tough in here. And in the 3rd spot, I have a horse who just graduated out of the $4,000 non-2 level, Wandering Dreamer. Loses Alex Marty to Dictatorship, but picks up Fernando Perez. Horse is going the right way. Had a 3rd, then a win. He could keep improving, so I have him in 3rd spot. It's 4, 7, and 6 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I got the same 3 horses, a little different in the 2nd and 3rd, but Dictatorship looks the best on paper here. That was a good run. Lookout Dubai just blitzed this horse down the backstretch with Marty Williams up and went on and ran away and hit. This horse did well. Almost held 2nd, but got beat by a little brown guy late. That kind of race.
Hadn't run for a long time.
Yeah, hadn't run since April, and as you mentioned, it was scratched in the gate, and then was entered back, but because it was a scratch, had no date, got on the alsos, and nightmare. That's why you get off for a couple of months. But Dictatorship's found a spot he should win. Put the 7 Cat's Axe in for 2nd. Amadeo Perez re-rides. A lot easier spot than the one he was in last time, as you mentioned, against Ice Rules and Silver Ruler. And the 6 Wandering Dreamer with Fernando Perez, I agree as well. Good win last time at the non-2-4 level. Even though it was sprinting, he still deserves respect. I mean, even though it was going long, he still deserves respect sprinting. Yeah. I went 4, 7, and 6. Dictatorship definitely might be a single on the pick 4 ticket, pick 5s. On to the 7th race, $25,000 fillies and mares, going a mile and a 16th. Field of 7 set to go postward. I went to the 4 horse. Cry. No secrets here. Pretty easy win last time, but was disqualified for interference away from the gate. This horse was a ton the best. Boy, was she. Yeah. She was miles the best, but she did impede Dashing Daisy, and I guess the number had to come down. But Cry. Definitely in a good spot going long. She's won going long in the past. I don't see a problem with the distance, so I got to go to her to win it. Dashing Daisy, who was eliminated at the start, got to give her another shot at this level. And I put the 7 Random High. She hasn't run a bad race this year. No. 6 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds. She's going to have to come up with a big race. Come up with a big race, though, to keep her 1st and 2nd streak going, but maybe she can do it. I went 4, 1, and 7.
Totally agree with you. Cry, 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 as you say, was much the best last time. She stretches out. She's won at the distance. She gets the weight with Marty. Not really, I don't think really a tough horse to ride. You can just kind of probably just sit it off. You know, whoever takes the lead, maybe Tiger Silly or something like that. Yeah, she could take the lead or she could sit just off it. And when he asks her, she's going to be full of run. Second spot, I agree, Dash and Daisy. That 5th by 6 last time, as you mentioned, she just got wiped out of the gate and then was kind of in trouble thereafter, you know, kind of lost all her position. So she could run better, but I still think Cry, Cry, Cry is too much for her. And then third spot, Random Highs. As you say, ran third in that Cry, Cry, Cry race, dropped down, win for 15, and now tries 25,000 again. She's not out of it. I'm right with you, 417.
I don't mind the 5-horse My Bailo, just for a quick to touch on the Superfectus.
That's true.
Them sharp mares or sharp fillies, when they're on a roll, stick with them. I know she's making a big class hike, but she's still as good as anything else in here. She was at one time in her career up that high. Yeah. And so don't be surprised at My Bailo.
Like another horse in the race, Dash and Daisy started for 12.5 last year, worked her way up the ladder. Orchid Silver. For some reason, it seems mares, when they get confident, are even better than the boys.
Deadly. Yeah. They hold their form.
Yeah. And on to the last 5,000 non-winners of the year for fillies and mares. And I've gone to the 2. Going to mile 16th, I got a note because I'm going to the 2 Lady Sasha. I think she's just a standout in here. She was in the endurance races last year and beating some, you know, good boys.
This year? That's kind of an odd.
It is kind of an odd move, yeah, because she would have fit. You know, she would have been one of my picks in the endurance series. So
just thinking, you know.
Yeah. So maybe just wanted to get a nice win under her belt before she tackles the boys. Yeah. But I think she's a standout in here. She loves the distance. Was a favorite last time against Random Highs, a horse we just mentioned. Those horses for 12.5. Drops in for the 5 numbers of the year. Go along. Everything points to her. I think she's an absolute single, Lady Sasha. The second spot, I put another horse that's been pretty tough this year, Rainbows in the Wood. I can't see her holding the class with Lady Sasha, but I think she's the best of the rest. And the third spot, a horse that will come running late, Odds Easy out of Patty Leaney's barn. She fits in here. She'll come running late. You know, she likes the distance, so I have her in third spot. 2, 4, and 6 for me.
Yeah, I've gone to the 2-horse Lady Sasha as well, but a little concerned. But why the horse is in for 5? But 2 good runs this year, and I think a filly or a mare that's should tin can the field. She win by 5, but we'll see how she does. I put the 3 Diva Ballerina. Gonna have her another shot. I put her in. She chased some pretty fast fractions last time in a non-2 for 5. This is a little easier race for her, I would think. And I put the 4-horse Rainbows in the Wood. She's sharp. She needs those fast tracks. Anytime she's been on a fast track, she's pretty deadly. Her worst races are when they get on them sealed, sloppy tracks. She just needs a pace in front of her. I don't know if she's going to get it.
She won't see that this weekend. She'll have a fast track for sure.
She'll definitely have a fast track. I went 2, 3, and 4. Well, that'll do it for the Sunday, July 22nd edition of Handicappers Corner. Actually, up next on screen will be our selections. And we'll start off with my picks in the first race. I went to the 3-horse D's Victor. I went 3, 1, and 2. Second race, I went to the 7, Remarkably Free. Went 7, 4, and 6. And third race, I went to the 1, Ouch. Went 1, 4, 2. In the fourth race, I went to the 8, Calm the Storm. I went 8, 9, and 5. Went right back to the 8 in the fifth race. That's Connoisseur. I went 8, 7, and 4. Sixth race, I went to the 4, the Speedy Dictatorship, 4, 7, 6. Seventh race, the unlucky Cry, Cry, Cry. Hopefully she gets a deserved win, 4, 1, and 7. And in the 8th and final, I went to the 2, Lady Sasha. Go with the old 2, 3, 4 to close out the Sunday card.
And on to my picks. In the first, I went with the 2, Now Act, over the 5 and 3. In the second, I went with the 6, Dyna Light, over the 3 and 7. In the third, I went with the 4, Bold Pretense, over the 2 and 3. In the fourth, I went with the 5, Major Dundee, over the 9 and 4. In the fifth race, I went way out to the 11, over the 8 and 7. In the sixth race, I went with the 4, Dictatorship, over 7 and 6. In the seventh, I went with the 4, Cry, 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 over the 1 and 7. And in the nightcap, the 8th, I went with the 2, Lady Sasha, over the 4 and 6.
Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to another edition of Handicappers Corner. Hopefully we've given you some good information and a little more insight, help with your wagers throughout the Sunday program. We look forward to seeing everyone again next time here on Handicappers Corner when things resume on Friday, the July 27th program. So good luck this weekend. Pick lots of winners, and we'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.
to this here in the Telegram.
For Rivera fight, I hear his foot's all right. Of course it all depends if he ran last night.
I know it's Valentine, the morning works look fine. You know the jockeys.